Okay, so this is part 2 of section 5-3, and now we're going to be using these identities that we've been talking about. So right now we're given cosine of 210 degrees is equal to negative root 3 over 2, and we want to find the exact value, so again, no calculator, of cosine of 105. Now this is not something on our unit circle, but it is half of this angle. So we're going to use those half angle identities. So those are the ones at the bottom of your identity sheet. So this is what you want to have out in front of you. And we're going to use that cosine half angle because that's what we're looking for. So cosine of alpha over 2 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine alpha over 2. Okay. Now we need to determine the quadrant that this is in. So this angle, cosine of 105, is in quadrant 2. Okay, so this is 105. Now, if it's in quadrant 2, cosine, using all students take calculus, cosine is negative here. So we're going to choose our negative answer. This does not mean you have two answers. That's the biggest mistake I see students make with this formula is they think that this plus or minus sign means you have two answers. You don't have two answers for cosine of an angle. You have one answer, and it's negative. That's what we're deciding here. So cosine of the half angle is 105 is equal to negative root 1 plus cosine of alpha. Well, if alpha divided by 2 is 105, then alpha is 210 over 2. And then we can go ahead and start simplifying things. We know that cosine of 210 is negative root 3 over 2. So negative root 1 plus negative root 3 over 2 divided by 2. And now it's really just algebra simplifying this because we want to get an exact answer. So I have 2 on top here, so I'm going to rewrite this 1 as 2 over 2. And then divided by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. So now we have negative root 2 minus root 3 over 4. And we can take this just one step further. The square root of 4 is 2, so I can pull that out. And that is my exact answer. That is cosine of 105. Okay. Let's move on to our next example. We're going to verify. So here we have tangent of x is equal to sine 2x over 1 plus cosine 2x. Okay. So this might just look like one of our identities here, our tangent half angle identity, but we can't just use that identity here. We need to actually prove this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start on the right side actually. So sine of 2x, we can rewrite that as 2 sine x cosine x. And cosine 2x we can rewrite as, let's see, plus 2 cosine squared x minus 1. And this negative 1 and positive 1 cancel. And we have 2 sine x cosine x over 2 cosine squared x. And we have a cosine that can cancel and a 2 that can cancel. And we have sine x over cosine x, which is tangent. Okay, so that's the end of that example. On to the next page, we have another verifying one. And so with this identity here, again, we can't use the half angle identity because that's what we're trying to prove here. But we can go ahead and use what we do know. Now the first thing I would do is rewrite these in terms of sine and cosine. So 1 over cosine x over 1 over cosine x times 1 over sine x plus 1 over sine x. And I'm going to multiply this term by cosine x over cosine x. And now I have 1 over cosine x over 1 plus cosine over cosine x sine x. Okay. Well, now dividing fractions, we can flip and multiply. Okay. And we see that these cancel out here. And now we have sine x over 1 plus cosine x. And that is the half angle. And so we're done with that one. And that brings us to the end of section 3.